What up, gang? Back with the real. You know what's the deal. I keep getting messages about doing a video on KTS Von, and because I always come through with the heat for y'all, that's exactly who we're gonna talk about today. Honestly, every time I think we covered the most savage of savage out of Chiraq, I get proven wrong. This man KTS Von was a different breed and nearly claimed the life of one of the Chi's most successful rappers out now. The streets were a way of life to him. He ate, breathed, and slept the lifestyle. Going to op blocks, breaking ops jaws, murking ops, slapping the soul out of window. Dude was off the handle. Brace yourselves for this one, cause we about to break it down and chop it up and find out just why he's what I call the Chiraq serial killer. Real name Devon Davis, street name KTS Von. He was also known by the alias Big Kutthroat the Smoker. Off the rip, you meet a dude named Big Kutthroat the Smoker, you already know he got a closet full of nothing but black Air Forces. But to name Big Kutthroat the Smoker and be from Chicago? Oh hell nah, that's a recipe for disaster just by those two combinations. KTS Von wasn't always affiliated with the gang KTS. In order to know who he is, we need to understand his family background. He grew up with his mother Lanya, three bros, Dre, KJ, and Vinny, not to be confused with his father Vinny of the same name. We'll call him Big Vinny. Even though he was brought up in a family home, unlike many savages who never knew their pops, KTS Von would still follow the path of the street. How? Well, his pops Big Vinny was a pattern for him and his brothers to follow. Being the GD, Von and his brothers would jump into the same lifestyle, but his brother Dre first banged Lakeside and Von Vice Lords, which were popular sets on the east side that were made up of KTS members. Hanging on KTS main spot, 75th and Cottage, they eventually repped KTS, which stood for Kill to Survive, and KTS Von would go above and beyond that meaning. They could be recognized by the distinct gang tattoo of a target on their necks. The Alliance brought new enemies, and two main ops of KTS were Sircon City and NLMB, which stands for Never Leave My Brothers. NLMB became popular with the mainstream success of members G Herbo and Lil Bibby. The more time he spent in the streets, the more ruthless Von became, until his entire mentality was living to murk the ops. He can at times be heard threatening KTS members with being kicked out if they weren't outside hunting their rivals.
Hey, if you claim KTS, you're in the house, it's not in this field.
Over with, man. You Kutthroat and you ain't in the field. KTS, and you ain't in the field. Get over with, man.
His rage towards NLMB in particular was he constantly taunting and trying to catch Herbo lacking.
Charlie, it's Lil Herbo, bitch.
On the weekend of April 9th, 2011, he took the first step into the path that ultimately would bring his end. Michael Lee, known in the streets as Gotti, from 8x13 gang, located on 73rd to 75th, Rose to Langley, lost his life to KTS Von. Reports state he was caught lacking while sitting in his vehicle in the 5500 block of South King Drive. Unfortunately, doctors couldn't save his life, and he was pronounced deceased at Stroger Hospital. Just like Jakira murked OD and Wick City became O Block, and STL EBT would become Tukaville when they lost Tuka, KTS Von's drive-by that took Gotti's life resulted in 8x13 changing their name to Gotti World. KTS Von started to show disrespect that would rival the late FBG Duck with mocking the slain Gotti in tweets, and went as far as printing a shirt saying, "Don't go Gotti." Before this, Von was a savage, but with his taste for blood, his thirst couldn't be quenched. He got one lacking, and he wanted all of his ops to meet their maker. Von would continue his mission on February 20th, 2012, where he upped the score by 2 on NLMB. 19-year-old Jamal Harris, aka Rock, and 53-year-old Gregory Glindsey, aka Alamo, were his victims. The two, along with a group of other NLMB members, including Von's worst enemy, G Herbo, Wet 'em Up, and Faro, were kicking it at the liquor store on the 2500 block of East 79th Street when a shooter rumored to be KTS Von pulled up in a beige vehicle and sprayed their direction. Rock and Alamo were hit in the chest and passed away. Alamo had just celebrated his mom's 80th birthday a couple days before his passing. Reports state 7 persons were injured, and word is that Herbo, Faro, and Wet 'em Up are among them but escaped with their lives. You'd think seeing Alamo's mom's having to mourn his passing at her elderly age would make Von remorseful. But while she was shedding tears, and NLMB were mourning the loss of their homie and appreciating Herbo and others' life being spared, Von did what he does best, end ops, and then disrespect them. With his raising body count, the name Big Kutthroat the Smoker began sticking to Von as another alias in the streets due to his increasing ability to smoke the ops. Around this time, Von was also stepping into the rap arena to expand his portfolio from murker of ops to rapper rapping about murking his ops. To Von, catching ops lacking was like a game, and the streets his playground. He'd make videos titled No Lacking, where he lurks on ops blocks. Later that year, in the third installment of the video, he pulled up at a McDonald's spot on a group of NLMB members, including Cairo, Moody, and Kobe. With his bro KTS Dre and other KTS affiliates like Posto, they cornered Cairo and told him to disrespect his dead homie Rock. When Cairo stood his ground and refused, Dre cracked his draw with a Roman Reigns super punch before exiting outside. Cairo and Moody would get the strap and follow Von and them busting shots in their direction. This is when the true nature of Big Cutthroat surfaced. While bullets were raining down, Von wasn't one bit scared, but it was more like a scene from the Joker as he laughed and enjoyed the thrill. In this incident, Postal was rumored to be hit with one of the bullets, but it wasn't a critical injury. Later in 2015, Herbo will release the track Back at It Part 3 with Smoke the Don, where he referenced the situation. KTS Von wasn't close to being finished. His real target was Herbo, and he wasn't going to stop until he got him. Von was turning into a serial killer with every body he dropped. He was infatuated with guns. Most picks, he had one flashing. One of those same guns would be what hit NLMB G Herbo the hardest. But Herb wasn't by any means to be played with either. On April 13th, he proved that. Him, along with other NLMB members, pulled up on KTS affiliate from Lakeside, D'Angelo Simmons, aka Lolo, and opened fire, murking Lolo and leaving his homie with a bullet wound to the ankle. NLMB was on the scoreboard. To honor their fallen member, Lakeside adopted the name Lolo World. It wouldn't take long for Big Cutthroat to serve up some revenge. On May 25, 2013, he caught Sircon City Pharaoh lacking at his home. In obtained police reports, his adopting father, 82-year-old ZBD Denard, said his son had just left home to change out of his basketball clothes when he heard the shots. What he would see was his son with 7 to 8 headshots, disfiguring his face near the point of not being recognizable. Pharaoh was pronounced deceased at 9:30 p.m. in the 7300 block of South Dorchester Avenue, said official John Marabelli, a Chicago Police Department spokesman. KTS Von wasted no time to jump at the opportunity to poke fun at his handiwork and what he did to Pharaoh's face. But that wasn't the last NLMB heard from Von. He just kept upping the score and terrorizing their camp. It was finally G Herbo's turn to feel the pain. Von and a couple KTS members were lurking around where Herbo, Kobe, and other NLMB members were chilling at 4 in the morning playing dice and kicking it. Being the type to depend on himself, Kobe refused to drop home since it was just a couple blocks. Herbo would tell Sway in an interview that a short while after he left, they heard a lot of shots, and when they ran to check on Kobe, he was on the ground, gone. Kobe lost his life at the 7900 block of South Oglesby Avenue outside the McDonald's restaurant in the 2400 block of East 79th Street at 4:02 a.m. Cops stated that he was hit in the head and about the body. Herbo would later release a mixtape in his honor titled Ballin' Like I'm Kobe. You already know what came next. Von got right on throwing salt in the wound, mocking NLMB. Von would take his trolling even further, FaceTiming NLMB members like Cairo and G Herbo getting in their head. Through all this, Von never forgot about his pops, who was by this time incarcerated and serving time. Little did Von know, he was nearing the end of his rope. Overconfident and hungry for more, his downfall was already set in motion. But first, he would lose his homie Posto after being locked up, then later released on November 18th with intention to change his life around. Sadly, he wouldn't get the chance as he was shot in the head in the 2700 block of East 80th Street, just around the corner from his South Chicago home while standing in the hallway. Posto was rushed in critical condition to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, where he was pronounced deceased at 11:50 p.m., according to authorities. KTS would now be the ones adopting another gang alias to honor Posto, calling themselves Posto Gang.
Pop in, block.
Block.
More block Posto gang.
Von's time was drawing close to his end. NLMB Crazy James is rumored to be the one who nearly got the job done late 2014, early 2015 when he tried to murk Von, hitting him in the chest. Von fought for his life and survived to later show the scar and also joke about the weight loss it caused. It seemed all fun for him, whether he lived or passed away. That didn't stop Von from being back on his grimy ways, printing fallen homies of the ops on clothes that he wore out in public. But his clock was out of time, and his bad habit set the stage for him to be caught lacking and pumped with shells. June 23rd, 2015, geeked up on the pills, Von was murked in the Greater Grand Crossing neighborhood on the south side as stated by police. The hit happened in the 7500 block of South Ellis Avenue at 2:05 p.m. Reports state that Von was hit multiple times and pronounced deceased at the scene. It's never been confirmed who carried out the hit, but many speculate NLMB due to evidence like NLMB Mad Max, aka C Money, changing his IG bio to Big No Limit the Smoker, and NLMB affiliate Choppa cryptic message on IG. Von was simply living on borrowed time. You do that much dirt and make that many enemies, and it's gonna catch up to you eventually. He left a legacy as a Chiraq serial killer, along with the few musical bangers dropped, Kill to Survive, and Street Life. With him gone, KTS has calmed down in the background, and the ops have been cleaning out shop. KTS Denny G was shot and nearly lost his life. Sadly, KTS Von's oldest brother, KTS Dre, wasn't so lucky. Ops were waiting patiently for him to post bail and be on the outside again. They caught him just one day after his fiance posted bail, and it was personal. Cops found around 64 shell casings at the scene, and Dre was riddled with just as much as well. I can only imagine what the person in charge of the autopsy had to deal with. Bullets rained down the moment he walked out of the Cook County jail. The mysterious thing about his passing is that he was warned on IG Live to get out before they got him. He said, I quote, "Sooner than later, I'm tired of this shit. Come take me out this shit. I can't take it no more."
Sooner then, nigga. Sooner than later, y'all. I'm tired of this shit. Come take me out this shit, cause I can't take it no more.
The ops delivered his request. It don't matter how you start, but how you finish. In the end, NLMB won the war, even if KTS won majority of the battles. RIP to all who lost their lives, and condolences to the family. Another beef gone too far, another talent gone in the wind. Rest up, Big Kutthroat the Smoker.